My son and I drove cross country, just the two of us, and spent the first month in the house, just the two of us. So for us to be able to bond and have that time together and just talk about anything and everything, I wouldn't have traded that for the world.
Don't get emotional. Today we're sharing the good, the hard,
and the hopeful
about that entire experience that we walked through that we're here to share with you, and how you can make it smoother for your family. Stay tuned. If you are new here, I am Angel. This is my handsome husband, Daniel. We are Gen Xers that have relocated from California to South Carolina. And we help other Gen Xers do that week after week. So if you are thinking about relocating to the Charleston, Summerville area, we would love to be the ones that you reach out to. Feel free to like and subscribe so that this gets pushed out to other people that might be thinking about it. Or you can book a VIP call in the description below. And we would love to talk about your move, your details, and your journey here to South Carolina, because it gets better week after week, but not without a few hurdles. So we're going to cover that today in this video. So when we were thinking about moving, we were excited, of course, but we weren't sure how it was going to hit our kid, in what way. We knew he was more amiable to it than maybe our oldest, but he was coming with us regardless, and we needed to make sure we navigated those waters smoothly.
Our son was moving away from his friends, his routines, his whole teenage world was going to be gone.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what your concerns are. So we're going to help you, hopefully, make it smoother for your family.
So the first tip we would give you is obviously do your best to plan it around the end of school so that you're moving after school gets out and before the next school year. Sometimes that's not doable. Maybe you're in military or something and you just go when they say you've got to go. But if you can plan it so that you're hitting it in the summer months, that is helpful. That's not just logistically speaking, as far as like end of a school year, beginning of a school year, but it also gives everybody time for goodbyes, whether that's a party, whether that's a couple of parties, whether that's, you say goodbye to this group of friends at school, then you have the, our son had a goodbye thing with his youth group at our church. So there was a couple of different opportunities. He had multiple sleepovers with friends as he was getting closer and closer to leaving.
And he had a pre-birthday party.
Yeah. So anything you can do to give them a chance to see whatever their groups of friends are before you go helps ease the leave time, as far as like, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to so-and-so, and I didn't see, my whoever friend. It gives them enough of those that they can do that.
And another tip to help ease the transition of your child moving out of state is we kind of did a sneaky surprise, because his actual birthday happened once we settled in, and he was going to be celebrating by himself. And who wants to do that? That's horrible.
Just with us, man.
So we had one of his besties. We coordinated with the mom and we said, hey, we want to fly him out so that he can be like a surprise for our son. So I got down to the airport and snuck him back to the house and then had him hiding in the garage. And then our son comes out to the garage. It's like, surprise. And he was totally blown away. Super excited, super happy.
If you can make that happen, it eased a lot of, because he had already been here for a little over a month or so, just he and Dan hanging out. So it was good for him to it was summer, right? There was no friends. So it was a good way for him to be like, oh, I'm not forgotten, right? Like, we're just trying to make these tips something that maybe you can grab onto, even if you just grab one or two to apply to one or two of your kids. It helps. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
One of the things that I was really worried about as his mom was I didn't want him to just absorb into his phone as the only way to connect with whomever. So we were really advocating for him to get outside and explore. And he had a lot of time here to hang out with Dan, and Dan let him do things that I probably wouldn't have. But the whole point was we didn't want him to just tuck away onto a device 5 minutes after arriving. That wasn't going to help anybody.
And we're not saying that he shouldn't have a device or he shouldn't be gaming.
Right.
Because he's able to text his friends, call his friends.
And they talk while they game.
When they do gaming, it's like they're mic'd up or whatever, so they could hear each other talking and they're just bantering as they're doing their thing. So there is a time and place for it, but I wanted him to get out into his new environment, kind of explore and see things. one of the best things that I allowed him to do, she probably would have put a stop to it, but he had a dirt bike, and there's a lot of green open fields around here. So I would just kind of say, yeah, just go ride around. And he had a blast. I mean, he became our GPS because he knew every stretch of our new neighborhood. So that was really fun for him.
And it gave him autonomy and like ownership of the new area of like, oh, let me show you where is, because we didn't know. I certainly didn't know, and he was busy setting up the house. So he had an opportunity to kind of learn the area before we did. So it was a little bit of ownership into the new location.
Yeah, he was showing us around, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I had to do is I had to get the house ready. So, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on things. So I would find, TV stands or cabinets or whatever we needed for the house on Facebook Marketplace. Shout out to Facebook Marketplace. But I would have my son come with me, and we would drive out hither and yon and pick up things. And, he was really kind of the backbone of the operation, in that if there was tasks that I couldn't manage by myself, I needed him.
Yeah.
And that definitely helped, because it was like
he was involved.
He and I were a team,
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough that there's a level of bonding that you can do. My son and I drove cross country, just the two of us, and spent the first month in the house, just the two of us. So for us to be able to bond and have that time together and just talk about anything and everything, I wouldn't have traded that for the world.
Don't get emotional. And maybe that's not your reality, right? Maybe you have multiple kids and you have to kind of get creative with how you're going to do it. But this is a time when they really, really need us. And we need them, right? We're all in this new world together. Yeah. So it's not like what we would have experienced back in the day when it was just like, I don't know, we're moving. Get outside, figure it out. There was no conversation.
Make new friends.
Yeah, the end.
You'll figure it out.
It's a different world now, and we're trying to know better and do better and raise our kids differently. So they definitely need us. So even though they're big and they're not going to, be climbing on your legs like when you were making dinner when they were little, they do still need you. And it is something that they will look back on and remember that you were, whether you had a bad day or you and they had a good day and they were able to help you, like that's kind of, it's something that I would encourage you. And as we had experienced, it really makes a difference in how you navigate the new neighborhoods and school and everything else that happens with a new move. Is they know that you're learning new people and experiences just like they are.
You're all in the same boat.
So that would be my advice, is just go to them when they are not going to be able to always come to us, because they don't know what they don't know. Yeah. It's our job, right? Yeah.
And, something simple is, for example, in California, we had Raising Cane's, and that's where our daughter worked for over 3 years. It was funny because he refused to go to Chick-fil-A after our daughter got the job at Raising Cane's, because it was like...
He was cheating on him.
Yeah, he was.
He's a loyalist.
Yeah. When we came out to South Carolina, I mean, granted, the Raising Cane's, by the way, Raising Cane's, if you're watching this, we need one in Somerville. But I digress. We were out doing our Facebook Marketplace stuff, and we found a Raising Cane's. So, of course, we're going to go there, take pictures, send them to his sister. And just one other thing where it's like he's kind of got that tie to his home area. So if you could find places like that do on a regular basis, then, treat them to something like that if you find it.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the school situation. So because that is always the biggest hurdle, are they going to make friends? What type of school? What, how many days? Who's going to get there? What does it look like? So if you can do like an early preview of the school, meet a teacher, meet a principal, have an interview. We had interviews while we were still in California with some of the schools that were hitting our radar when we first enrolled him in the school. So anything you can do on the front end to prepare them that it's going to probably look a lot like what they're doing. And if it's not a traditional 5-day-a-week school, maybe you're a homeschooler and you want to find those communities, there is no shortage of Facebook groups. They always have like meetups or activities that they're at. So you can kind of join in on one of those maybe the minute you get here, so you can start to meet some of that community as well.
Well, and for us, we didn't get it right the first time.
Correct.
And that's okay. We enrolled him in a 5-day-a-week school, and it was close to the house, so it was convenient for everybody.
He wasn't driving at the time. That was pivotal. Yeah, he wasn't able to drive.
You know, we noticed kind of his spirit diminishing week over week over week. And then, you know, and having conversations with him, he wasn't happy there. He wasn't finding friendships. Because, you know, like when we grew up, you had cliques and you had factions in the school. And, you know, all these kids grew up together. And here our son is coming in fresh from another state. And, you know, it's a challenge. It's hard. So, you know, in having conversations with him, we decided that it was in our best interest and his best interest to try to find a school similar to what we left in California, which was a university model school.
When we were looking at it on the map when we first moved, you know, you're looking at like, oh, here's this school. And he was super excited to go to a 5-day-a-week school. Side note, university models do not go 5 days a week. It's a 5-day-a-week school, but you only go on campus a few days of the week. So when we were looking to move to this Somerville area, there are great schools here, but we wanted to stay with as much of our faith walk as we possibly could. So we definitely wanted to have him in a private Christian school. That might not be something that you experience, and the Dorchester 2 county schools are highly rated. Mount Pleasant schools are highly rated. But for our situation, we're just sharing with you that we you know, he was going to be a sophomore, so we knew we only had a few more years. We were going to kind of push through with what we already knew. And so we had those interviews and we experienced all of those things. But when we were looking at the map and we saw that it was 20 miles away, we were like, okay, he can't drive yet. 20 miles there and back. And no, we're going to go to the one that's 5 days a week and 5 miles away. What worked where you were might not work where you are now. And I encourage that flexibility because it really gives your kid a chance to come to you and say, this isn't working. Yeah. And he didn't say those words, but it was in every conversation.
You could see it in the way he carried himself and just his mindset.
Yeah.
He was
hard to watch as a parent.
He was in a hard spot.
Yeah.
You know? And then, you know, when we got him started in the university model school that he's attending now, he was excited, delighted. He was like,
it was familiar.
This is like my youth group, only at school, you know? So he had, you know, he had his church youth group, but it was school too. And it was small and it was, you know, it felt right to him. And we were thanking God that he blessed us with this place for our son to go.
One of the things that we absolutely did not see coming on the radar, back to the point about being flexible, is that he was very motivated, like Dan shared. So with this new school model, whatever that might be for your scenario, he decided that he wanted, because he didn't have his group of friends that he wanted to stay in the same grade with, like he was in California. So he decided he wanted to accelerate. And we worked it out with the new school so that he essentially did his sophomore and his junior year all the way through until fall of 2025, where he started as a senior. Mm-hmm. That is not something that we ever saw on the radar, and not anything we encouraged beforehand of like, oh, maybe you can do this. With all the opportunity that happens here in Charleston area with all the businesses and industry that's moving here, I call him like a Swiss Army knife, where like one day he wants to join the service, the next he's gonna, you know, go have a trade with Toyota, then he's gonna go to Trident Technical, then he's gonna work for the company that he works for now. Like it's like a Swiss Army knife, like something's different every day.
Depending on the day, he's got all these goals and plans.
Yeah,
you know?
But that is not something that we didn't set that up. That was just organically after we gave him the room to come to us and say, this isn't working. We need something that is. And so out of that came this other desire to do everything faster. He wants to be a part of the world out in the workforce so badly. And we are ready to not argue about school so badly that we're going to help him execute that.
Absolutely.
And if you have watched more than one of our videos, which we pray that you have. You know that we do a Gen X fun fact. So Dan brings us something from back in the 70s or 80s when we grew up, and he tries to stump me and you, depending on who gets it first. We never know if it's me or you, but it's a fun way that we can take it way back and remember what it was like back then.
Yes.
So let's go. What have you got for us this week? Gen X fun fact.
It's a movie.
Okay.
And it came out on February 15th,
Oh gosh.
1985.
85. Okay.
So it would be.
Am I just supposed to pull that out?
Well, it's kind of related to what we're talking about.
High
with
school?
Our son.
High school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And remember earlier in the video, I talked about cliques and friendships.
Okay. It's not Outsiders. That was earlier. Is it Breakfast Club?
It is Breakfast Club. You got it.
The Breakfast Club. They only met once,
I don't want to be alone anymore.
You don't have to be.
but it changed their lives forever.
I mean, I consider you guys my friends.
And we know we're raising our kid right because there was one Halloween where he dressed as Bender.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Woohoo!
yeah.
All right.
And in September of this year, they're bringing Breakfast Club back to theaters. So if you didn't see it,
40-year anniversary. It's not
if your
right.
kids haven't seen it, and if they're old enough to see it, take them to see Breakfast Club.
I think we're going to go see it at the theater.
Yeah.
So again, we hope that this information is helpful. Again, we did not get it right, and we as parents, we make a lot of mistakes, but we definitely wanted to share that when you move and relocate with a teenager, it's probably, I think the top number one thing would be flexible.
Yeah. And be available. That would be the other
be
thing.
available. Yeah.
Make sure you're there for your kid because they're struggling in ways that they're not even going to tell you.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of figure that out on your own.
Yeah. But in addition to that, we've created a checklist. It's called Relocating with High Schoolers. Ta-da!
Yeah.
And you can download that. It's in the show notes below. And it just gives you the high points, basically, of what we covered, but also ways that maybe that we haven't thought of that maybe would work for you and your family.
Yeah. And if you have any suggestions on things we could add to the checklist, just put them in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll include those.
And if you are thinking about relocating to the Charleston, Somerville area, we would love to be the Gen Xers that you pick. We are not all done raising kids and retiring. Some of us are still in the thick of it. And if that's you, we would love to hear from you. The link to book that is in the show notes below. We will see you next week.
Bye.